Wanted to come on here and share a thought for you when it comes to Amazon. I guess it could be applicable to a lot of things in life, as many business lessons are. But I was thinking about this recently. Sometimes you're going to make Amazon decisions that are poor and you're going to get lucky. And sometimes you're going to make really well calculated, educated decisions, thoughtful, ton of data, and still end up not selling it for what you want or not it being considered a success, right? And the message I want to convey and share is don't mistake being unlucky with making a bad decision, and certainly don't mistake getting lucky for making a good decision. So, to kind of elaborate a little bit here, let's just say you're buying a product, maybe you're rushed, you just have this urgency to spend more money this week because you haven't been sourcing enough. You kind of don't hold tight to your parameters. Maybe it's normally 40% ROI and you find one that's 30% ROI, but the seller count's increasing and you're trying to justify it, right? And really it's not a proper buy, let's say, not by your standards. And what happens? You send in the product, it takes 6 weeks to go live because sometimes that happens with Amazon. And what happened in between? All the other sellers sold out, and little did you know that product was going to have a supply issue, right? Or a discontinuation. And so now, 6 weeks later, you're the only player in the game, and you get to charge a premium. And now you look back and say, wow, like, or you could potentially look and say, wow, look at what I did. Great decision making, right? When in reality, just because you got saved and you got lucky doesn't mean it was a good decision. And contrarily, on the other side, let's say you're very thoughtful, that the seller count is decreasing, the price is going up. You buy a product at a good price for 45% ROI. You send it in, it also takes 6 weeks. And by then, everyone else has caught on to that, right? Just some kind of extreme example there. Not extreme, but just a different example, right? To paint the picture. You can look in either situation at your decision making and say, "Oh, I'm never going to do that again," for the time you thought you made a good decision and you got unlucky. And when you got lucky on a bad decision, you might look at it and say, "Hey, I'll do more of this." But just know over a long enough period of time, it's all going to balance out. And making good, calculated decisions will win the overwhelming majority of time. And the bad but lucky decisions will wean out too. All right. And we all know examples of that, right? You can forget to study for a test, and the teacher, as you pull into class the next day, ready to fail your test, says, "Hey, we got to move this until next week," whatever. Then you have proper time to study and things worked out, right? But it doesn't mean that you should not be prepared for the test because next time you won't get as lucky, right? So, just a thought, always trust the data. And I should also mention that um, there's only so much you can do. You can never get something 100% right. You have your checks and balances in place to make good calculated decisions, and you get better and better and better, but there's no perfect solution, and that is part of the game, all right? On both sides of it, to get a little lucky and a little unlucky, but I would much rather make calculated decisions day in and day out, because over the long run, that's where you're going to benefit. All right. I'm Jonathan. Duke does Amazon. I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.